Imagine an entire civilization more advanced than anything we know, wiped off the face of the earth in a single night. A city of wonders with towering temples, intricate canals, and knowledge that could have rivaled the modern world, suddenly swallowed by the ocean. No warnings, no survivors, or at least none that we could find. What secrets lie beneath the waves? What truths have been lost to time? What if Atlantis was real? Welcome to Nighttime Earth, the place where we explore the mysteries of our world that history forgot, or perhaps that we are only beginning to understand. Before we dive deeper, make sure to hit subscribe. Join us on this journey as we uncover legends, explore hidden histories, and ask the questions that history itself seems afraid to answer. Atlantis, just the name conjures images of grandeur, of a city that existed in a time before our own, more advanced than the civilizations we consider ancient. The story first emerged in the writings of the Greek philosopher Plato around 360 BCE, who described a powerful island civilization located beyond the Pillars of Hercules. What we know today is the Strait of Gibraltar. According to Plato, Atlantis was a utopia of immense wealth, wisdom, and technological marvels governed by a system of laws that seemed perfect for its time. Scholars debated whether it was real or simply an allegory, a cautionary tale about pride, greed, and human ambition. But the story persisted for centuries. The idea that such a civilization could exist, only to vanish beneath the waves, has fascinated explorers, historians, and dreamers ever since. Plato tells us that the Atlanteans once attempted to conquer the known world, driven by ambition, pride, and hubris. And yet, in the blink of an eye, their society crumbled. The earth swallowed the city, the ocean claimed the land, and the memory of their grandeur became a whisper in history. But whispers have a way of turning into echoes, and echoes can be heard if we listen closely enough. Then we begin to wonder, what if there's more to this story than Plato ever revealed? Archaeologists and historians have scoured the globe for clues. From the sun-scorched remnants of Santorini, scarred by volcanic eruptions, to the mysterious islands of the Azores rising from the Atlantic. Each discovery sparks new questions. Could these have been remnants of a civilization that once ruled the seas? Or perhaps Atlantis is hidden beneath layers of sediment on the ocean floor, waiting for the right moment or the right technology to reveal itself. Some researchers have even suggested the Americas as a potential home for Atlantis. Strange architectural similarities, unexplained artifacts, and legends passed down through generations hint that the influence of a lost civilization may be more widespread than we imagined. And yet, no definitive proof exists. The oceans keep their secrets close, as if daring us to explore, to imagine, to dream. Then let's picture Atlantis itself. Imagine a city where the streets gleam with polished stone, where canals flow through the heart of the metropolis, carrying water and goods to every corner. Temples rise like mountains, adorned with statues of gods and heroes, each telling a story of human achievement and divine inspiration. Scholars and philosophers debate under grand colonnades. Inventors and engineers test ideas that challenge our understanding of physics, medicine, and energy. Some theories suggest they harnessed energy in ways that would seem magical to us today. crystals that stored and transmitted power, machines that moved without human labor, and methods to manipulate nature itself. Art and culture flourished along science, creating a civilization both beautiful and terrifying in its potential. A city that could have led the world into an era far beyond its own time. And yet, for all its splendor, Atlantis was not immune to the forces of nature. Then comes the warning that Plato weaves so subtly into his narrative. Pride and ambition can never outpace the fragility of the world. The city, no matter how advanced, no matter how brilliant its people, would eventually face consequences beyond its control, and those consequences came swiftly. The ocean, patient and inexorable, would not tolerate even the mightiest of empires. Imagine walking through the streets of Atlantis one final time. The markets bustle, the scholars debate, children play by the canals. And then the ground trembles, a warning faint at first, but growing stronger. Water begins to rise in the distance, black and hungry. Then the earthquake, the crack of stone against stone, the roar of collapsing temples. And before the city can comprehend the horror, the waves sweep in, erasing everything in their path. In moments, the city is gone. Civilization, knowledge, art, and life all swallowed by the ocean. And yet, even as the waves claimed Atlantis, the legend survived. Plato wrote it down, passing the memory of the lost civilization to the future. The story travels through time in explorers, dreamers, and scientists to search for something that may not exist or may be hidden, waiting for discovery. Then, as we embark on this journey together, we must ask, what would the world be like if Atlantis had survived? What secrets would it hold? And most importantly, what lessons could we learn from its rise? Then, as the echoes of Atlantis whisper through the ages, we begin to imagine the life of its people, their daily struggles, their triumphs, their inventions, their cities, and the moment when everything changed. It is here that our journey truly begins, exploring the civilization that could have rewritten history. Then we look closer at the wonders of Atlantis, the knowledge lost beneath the waves, and the civilization that might have shaped the world without us even knowing it. Then we look closer at the wonders of Atlantis, the civilization that might have shaped the course of human history. As the echoes of its destruction fade in our imagination, the city itself comes alive, not in ruins, but in full splendor. Streets lined with polished stone stretch for miles, each one perfectly aligned to the cardinal points, reflecting a precision that defies what we thought possible for its era. Canals wind through the city like veins carrying life itself, transporting goods, water, and people to every corner. The architecture is both functional and breathtaking. Grand temples rise skyward, their walls etched with symbols that tell stories of gods, heroes, and perhaps technologies beyond our understanding. Imagine walking along these streets. The marketplace is alive with merchants selling spices, metals, and intricate crafts. Scholars discuss philosophy and astronomy beneath towering columns. Artisans carve statues and build devices whose purpose we may never fully comprehend. Children play near the canals, their laughter mingling with the hum of industry, and everywhere there is a sense of progress, intelligence, and purpose. This is a civilization that has harmonized science, art, and culture in a way that feels almost magical. Then consider the daily life of an Atlantean. Families live in homes constructed with precision-engineered stone, designed for comfort, durability, and efficiency. Water flows through the city in aqueducts, providing sanitation and irrigation for gardens, orchards, and farms. Food is abundant, sourced from fertile land and the surrounding seas, ensuring a society that thrives both physically and intellectually. Education is universal. Every citizen is encouraged to study mathematics, astronomy, engineering, and medicine. Debate and inquiry are not just tolerated, they are celebrated. The very air seems charged with curiosity, creativity, and ambition. Religion, too, plays a role, but it is intertwined with knowledge rather than superstition. Temples honor gods, yes, but also serve as centers for learning. Priests are scholars, and scholars are innovators. Music, poetry, and theatre flourish alongside engineering marvels. It is a society that balances spirituality with science, tradition with progress, a civilization where human potential seems limitless. Then there are the technologies. The Atlanteans, according to Plato, were masters of energy and materials. Some scholars speculate that they may have harnessed natural forces in ways we can barely imagine. Imagine machines powered by unknown sources, perhaps harnessing the energy of crystals or magnetic currents. Devices move without human labor, and constructions of stone and metal rise higher and stronger than anything seen in the known world. Bridges span vast canals effortlessly. Towers contain mechanisms that track celestial movements with unmatched precision. Could they have understood principles of physics and engineering that would not be rediscovered for thousands of years? Perhaps. Then there is medicine. The Atlanteans may have developed cures for ailments that confound modern science. Knowledge of herbal treatments, anatomy, and even surgical techniques could have been far ahead of their time. Some theories suggest that they practiced forms of therapy or energy medicine that allowed them to live longer, healthier lives. Imagine a civilization where science and well-being are fully integrated, where health, learning, and creation coexist in perfect harmony. Then we examine governance. Plato describes Atlantis as a powerful kingdom ruled by kings, descended from the god Poseidon. Yet governance is sophisticated, laws are codified, justice is structured, and society functions with remarkable efficiency. Citizens are not slaves to corruption or fear, but participants in a shared vision of prosperity. Trade, diplomacy, and defense are organized with skill, allowing the Atlanteans to project influence far beyond their borders. Perhaps this balance of order and innovation is what allowed them to achieve such extraordinary heights until pride and ambition set the stage for their downfall. Then consider their mastery of the seas. Atlantis is an island civilization surrounded by oceans that they navigated with skill. Ships sail far and wide, connecting distant lands. Perhaps they discovered routes and territories unknown to the rest of the world. It is said their navy was powerful, capable of defending their empire and exploring unknown waters. Could Atlanteans have made contact with other civilizations? Could some of the legends and myths scattered across the globe trace their origins back to these voyagers? We may never know, but the thought tantalizes the imagination. Then there is their understanding of the cosmos. Atlantean scholars may have mapped the stars with precision rivaling modern astronomy. Instruments capable of observing celestial movements, predicting eclipses, or measuring planetary positions may have existed. Perhaps they understood cycles of time, climate, and natural phenomena in ways that allowed them to harmonize their society with nature itself. Their temples might have served not only as places of worship, but as observatories, scientific laboratories, and libraries of knowledge. In a world where survival often meant brute force, Atlantis demonstrates that intellect and curiosity can be as powerful as armies and weapons. Then comes the haunting realization, for all their wisdom, the Atlanteans could not escape the forces of nature. Even a civilization that masters technology, governance, and art is still vulnerable. Plato's narrative warns us not only about hubris. The city's canals and aqueducts, designed to channel water, cannot stop a tsunami. Its stone bridges and towers, marvels of engineering, cannot resist an earthquake or volcanic eruption. Even the knowledge of centuries could not prevent disaster. And yet, in their daily lives, the Atlanteans might have been blissfully unaware that the ocean was rising, waiting, and patient. Then, as we picture Atlantis in its full glory, the story inevitably turns darker. For a civilization so magnificent, a single night could change everything. A tremor, a wave, a rupture in the earth, and all of its splendor could vanish in moments. And indeed, as the waves whispered at the edges of the island, the Atlanteans had no way of knowing the storm that was coming. It is here, at the peak of human achievement, that we must ask, how did the most advanced civilization of its time meet its end? Then the disaster begins. Then the story takes a darker turn. We've imagined Atlantis at the height of its brilliance, a civilization unparalleled in knowledge, engineering, and culture. Its canals sparkle in the sun, its temples tower into the clouds, its people thrive in health, learning, and prosperity. But even in the face of such achievement, nature remains a force no city, no empire, no matter how advanced, can truly command. And it is here that Atlantis meets the fate that has haunted humanity for centuries. Then we picture the final hours before catastrophe. The markets buzz, scholars debate astronomy, children laugh by the canals, artisans chisel sculptures, and priests study the heavens. Everything seems ordinary, yet beneath this serene veneer, the ocean stirs. A distant tremor, barely perceptible, ripples through the earth. Then another, stronger, shaking foundations built over decades. The Atlanteans, confident in their knowledge and technology, may have assumed the city's engineering could withstand any natural threat. But this time, the forces of nature are relentless and unforgiving. Then the first waves crash upon the outer edges of the island. They are not massive yet, only whispers of what is to come. Canals overflow, streets begin to flood, and the lower districts are the first to feel the ocean's fury. Citizens scramble to higher ground, but the sheer scale of the disaster overwhelms even their most advanced planning. Temples that once seemed untouchable groan and crack as the earth itself begins to open, a terrifying prelude to the devastation ahead and the disbelief. Those who once marveled at the harmony of Atlantis now confront its fragility. Perhaps some pray to the gods, hoping divine intervention will spare them. Others, scientists and engineers, attempt to understand what is happening, calculating, planning, devising, but the events unfold faster than any mind can process. Then, in moments, the city faces the unimaginable. Nature has decided, and nothing can reverse it. Then the ground splits. Entire districts sink as the earth ruptures beneath the city. Palaces, libraries, and observatories crumble into gaping chasms. Stones that took decades to carve are tossed like pebbles. Bridges collapse into the canals, and ships moored along the waterways are tossed and broken. The sky darkens with clouds of dust, ash and debris, turning day into an eerie twilight. The sound is deafening, the roar of the sea, the crash of stone, the cries of citizens overwhelmed by a disaster beyond comprehension. Scientists studying ancient eruptions and tectonic activity note parallels with real historical events. Santorini, for example, suffered a volcanic explosion that obliterated the Minoan civilization. Could this have inspired Plato's account? Or was Atlantis subjected to a combination of earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions that erased it from memory entirely? Whatever the cause, the effect is the same. The city of brilliance is consumed by forces it could not master. Then comes the tsunami, waves taller than any structure, moving with relentless speed. The waters surge into canals and streets, sweeping away everything in their path. Homes, markets, libraries and temples vanish beneath the relentless tide. Ships are torn from their moorings, crashing into buildings, capsizing as the city's heart is submerged. The canals that once nourished the city become rivers of destruction, carrying debris and lives into the open ocean. The Atlanteans face the ultimate irony. The very element that shaped their civilization, the water that brought trade, food, and life now, becomes the agent of their annihilation. Then the island itself begins to sink. Hills collapse, mountains crack, and the very bedrock gives way. Observatories, towers, and palaces that once symbolized human ingenuity are swallowed by the sea. Some citizens may have fled, seeking refuge on distant shores, but most are caught in the unstoppable wave. Temples that held centuries of knowledge are destroyed, along with scrolls, instruments, and artifacts that could have rewritten history. And in a single night, the island of Atlantis disappears, leaving nothing but whispers, legends, and the open sea. Then we feel the enormity of this loss. Atlantis was not just a city, it was a vision of human potential. Its destruction reminds us of the fragility of even the most brilliant civilizations. Knowledge, art, and culture can vanish as quickly as they are created. What might have been lost? What secret sank with the city? Entire branches of science, philosophy, and art may have disappeared forever, leaving future generations to rediscover what their ancestors once knew. Then the survivors, if any, carry only memories, stories, and fragmented knowledge. Perhaps some reach distant lands, planting seeds of their wisdom in faraway civilizations. Myths and legends, passed down through generations, hint at a great civilization lost to the waves. Atlantis becomes both warning and inspiration, a reminder that greatness can be fleeting, and that nature, no matter how advanced a society becomes, always holds ultimate power. And yet, even in its absence, Atlantis leaves traces. Submerged ruins, unusual artifacts, and mysterious geological formations hint at what might have been. Then the search begins, a search across oceans, through myths and beneath the sands of time. Where did Atlantis truly lie? Could remnants of its civilization still be discovered, whispering their secrets to those who dare to look? As we prepare to explore these possibilities, we begin to unravel the locations, evidence, and mysteries left behind by the lost island of Atlantis. Then we step into the waters that swallowed Atlantis. The city is gone, but the mystery remains. Even as the waves erased streets and temples, the ocean may have left hints, whispers of a civilization lost. For centuries, explorers, scientists, and dreamers have scoured the globe in search of these traces, mapping coastlines, diving beneath the waves, and studying ancient texts for clues. The question lingers: where did Atlantis truly exist, and what evidence remains to suggest it was real? Then some turn their attention to the Azores, a group of islands rising from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. These volcanic islands sit on a geological ridge and have fascinated explorers for centuries. Could they be the remnants of Atlantis, still partially submerged beneath the waves? Underwater formations resembling walls, foundations, and terraces have been discovered near the islands, sparking speculation that a civilization once thrived here. Maps from the 15th and 16th centuries depict mysterious islands in the Atlantic, some of which correspond to the Azores. Is it coincidence, or the faint imprint of Atlantis remembered through generations? Then we look south to Santorini, a sun-scorched island in the Aegean Sea. Around 1600 BCE, the volcanic eruption here devastated the Minoan civilization. Entire cities were buried under ash, tsunamis swept the coasts, and thousands lost their lives. Scholars have long wondered if Plato's story was inspired by this event. The parallels are striking. A powerful, advanced civilization destroyed by a natural catastrophe, leaving only myths and ruins behind. Could Santorini have been the inspiration for Atlantis, or was it part of a wider memory of a lost empire? Then some theories extend across the ocean to the Americas. Mysterious pyramids, intricate cities, and ancient artifacts predate recorded history in ways that puzzle historians. Could survivors of Atlantis have migrated westward, influencing civilizations in the Caribbean, Central America, or South America? Legends from indigenous peoples describe lands of great wealth and knowledge swallowed by the sea, though no definitive proof exists. These myths tantalize researchers with the possibility of a transatlantic connection, hinting that Atlantis' influence may have reached farther than we imagined. Then there is the most controversial theory, Atlantis beneath the ice of Antarctica. Some researchers speculate that during warmer epochs, parts of Antarctica were ice-free, allowing civilizations to flourish. Geological formations beneath the ice suggest structures that resemble walls, roads, and urban layouts. Could a combination of climate change and glacial shifts have buried a civilization in ice, just as waves may have swallowed one elsewhere? While evidence is circumstantial, the theory challenges conventional understanding and fuels our imagination about what might lie hidden under layers of ice and ocean. Then consider what lies beneath the ocean. Advances in sonar, satellite imaging, and underwater archaeology have revealed structures that resemble walls, roads, and pyramidal formations across the globe. From the coastlines of Japan to the Caribbean, mysterious underwater formations provoke questions. Are these natural structures or the remnants of a lost civilization? Even in the absence of direct evidence linking them to Atlantis, they suggest that human civilization, or something like it, might have been far more widespread than history records. Could Atlantis have been the center of a global network of advanced societies? Then there are the ancient maps. The Piri Reis map from 1513 depicts the Americas with astonishing accuracy, far beyond what should have been known at the time. Some argue that these maps were based on earlier sources, possibly even Atlantean knowledge passed down through generations. Ancient texts, myths, and legends from Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Americas share recurring motifs. A great civilization destroyed by water, a city of immense wealth and knowledge that vanishes with the flood. Are these coincidences or remnants of a shared memory rooted in reality? Then we must consider the power of myth. Stories of Atlantis may have been preserved through oral traditions, codified in myth, and echoed in the folklore of cultures around the world. The details shift over time, but the core narrative, a city of unmatched sophistication, swallowed by the ocean, remains remarkably consistent. Some scholars suggest that myths are distorted memories of real events, passed down through generations as cautionary tales, while others believe they contain kernels of truth, waiting for the right technology or discovery to confirm their reality. Then, when we connect these clues, the submerged structures, the ancient maps, the catastrophic events, and the myths, a picture begins to emerge. It is tantalizing, but incomplete. Atlantis could have been a real civilization, lost to natural disaster, its traces hidden beneath layers of sediment, ice, and ocean. Or it could be a composite of events, memories, and imagination, preserved through storytelling. But the search itself is revealing, even if Atlantis never existed in a single location. The quest to uncover it has led to discoveries that challenge our understanding of ancient history. And as we explore the possible locations and remnants of Atlantis, another layer of mystery comes into focus: the knowledge and technology this civilization may have possessed. What could they do that we cannot? Could their wisdom have influenced human history in ways we don't even realize? Then we move from ruins and maps to science and invention, imagining what was possible in a world lost beneath the waves. Then, as we leave behind the ruins, maps, and legends, we turn to the heart of the mystery. The knowledge and technology that Atlantis may have held, while evidence of the city itself is scattered and fragmentary. The accounts passed down by Plato and echoed in myths hint at capabilities that would rival or even surpass what the modern world knows today. To understand Atlantis is to imagine what humans might achieve when intellect, curiosity, and resources are combined without limitation. Then consider energy. Some researchers speculate that the Atlanteans had mastered forms of power we barely comprehend. Crystals, metals, and natural formations may have been harnessed to generate energy, moving machinery, lighting homes, and even powering transportation. Could they have tapped into geothermal energy or magnetic currents in ways that predate our modern understanding? Ancient myths reference crystal towers and glowing devices, leading some to theorize that these were more than legend, they were technologies, now lost to time. Imagine cities lit and powered without fire or fuel, machines moving without human labor, and the very elements of nature harnessed for human progress. Then there is the engineering itself. Temples, bridges, aqueducts and palaces built in Atlantis were said to defy conventional limits. Materials stronger, lighter, and more durable than anything available today may have been employed. Structures survive under conditions that would crumble modern buildings. Some hypothesize that the Atlanteans discovered techniques to shape stone and metal with precision tools that left no trace of their methodology. Their cities were designed to withstand earthquakes, yet nothing could stop the forces of nature completely. The ingenuity displayed in Atlantis challenges our understanding of ancient construction, leaving us to wonder what secrets were lost when the city vanished beneath the waves. Then consider medicine. Legends suggest the Atlanteans possessed a deep understanding of anatomy, biology, and healing. They may have combined herbal remedies with advanced surgical techniques, promoting health and longevity beyond what was typical for the time. Some theories even suggest they understood energy or vibration-based therapies, using frequencies to heal or strengthen the body. Imagine diseases treated without chemicals, injuries healed more rapidly, and life expectancy increased through knowledge that disappeared with the city's destruction. Atlantis may have been a civilization that fully integrated science, health, and daily living, a harmony modern medicine still strives to achieve. Then there is their knowledge of the cosmos. Atlantean observatories aligned with the stars allowed them to track celestial movements, predict eclipses, and perhaps even calculate planetary cycles with incredible accuracy. Their maps of the heavens may have guided navigation across oceans, ensuring safe passage for trade and exploration. If these claims hold any truth, the Atlanteans could have been among the first to understand the relationship between earth and sky, using this knowledge to expand their influence and interact with distant lands. Perhaps some of the myths passed down through civilizations encode fragments of this understanding, disguised as allegory, waiting for the right mind to interpret them. Then consider their mastery of water and ships. Atlantis was an island civilization, and the ocean was both a resource and a highway. Ships capable of long voyages, constructed with precision and advanced design, allowed Atlanteans to explore distant coasts and perhaps establish connections with other cultures. Could they have developed propulsion systems, hull designs, or navigation techniques lost to history? Ancient myths describe fleets that appeared suddenly, with speed and coordination beyond what contemporary civilizations could manage. These stories may hint at technological achievements that influenced early seafaring societies, though the details have been obscured by time. Then there is the possibility that Atlantis pursued sciences that the modern world has yet to rediscover. Accounts speak of machines that move without apparent power, tools that reshape materials effortlessly, and mechanisms that manipulate the environment. Some theorists even suggest that the Atlanteans may have experimented with forms of energy we cannot yet replicate. If true, The loss of Atlantis was not only the loss of a city, but the loss of an entire body of scientific knowledge that could have accelerated human progress by millennia. Imagine what humanity could achieve if even a fragment of this wisdom were recovered. Then we must also consider philosophy. Atlantis may not have been content with technical prowess alone. It is described as a society that valued wisdom, ethics, and learning. Education may have been universal, and every citizen could have been trained to understand the laws of nature, society, and governance. Imagine a civilization that combines morality with technological mastery, where progress is guided not only by capability, but by understanding the consequences of action. The philosophical framework of Atlantis may have been as advanced as its science, suggesting a society that could balance power with responsibility yet still fell victim to forces beyond its control. Then we confront a sobering thought. Knowledge alone is fragile. The city of Atlantis, with all its wisdom, innovation, and artistry, was erased in a single night. Scrolls, machines, and inventions gone. The very tools and understanding that might have propelled humanity centuries ahead were lost to the ocean, leaving behind only stories, myths, and faint traces of ruins. It is a reminder that human achievement, no matter how remarkable, is always at the mercy of nature and circumstance. And yet, even lost, Atlantis has left a mark. The legends, the myths, and perhaps scattered technologies influence cultures long after the city disappeared. Art, literature, and even early science may carry echoes of Atlantean knowledge. Then we move from what was lost to what remains, the legacy of a civilization that continues to inspire, warn, and intrigue humanity thousands of years after it vanished beneath the waves. In the next part, we explore how Atlantis shaped the imagination and history of the world, leaving traces that endure even in its absence. Then, as we leave the lost knowledge and technology behind, we turn to the echoes of Atlantis, the legacy that survived centuries of waves, earthquakes, and time. Though the city itself vanished, its stories, lessons, and influence rippled across civilizations, shaping myth, inspiring explorers, and fueling imagination. Atlantis was not just a city that disappeared, it became a symbol, a mirror reflecting human ambition, ingenuity, and vulnerability. Then consider mythology. Atlantis became the archetype of a lost civilization, a story repeated in cultures worldwide. The Greeks told of a great empire punished for hubris. Egyptians spoke of lands submerged by water. Indigenous legends in the Americas tell of lands and cities lost to the sea. Even the epic tales of later European literature, hidden continents, sunken cities, or civilizations forgotten in time carry whispers of Atlantis. These stories serve as both warnings and inspiration, showing how myths can preserve truths when history fails. Imagine generations of storytellers, scribes and poets drawing on the mystery of Atlantis, creating allegories that transcend time. Each tale, while altered by culture and imagination, keeps alive the vision of a civilization that once held knowledge and power beyond comprehension. Even without concrete evidence, Atlantis persists as a beacon of wonder and curiosity, reminding humanity that the extraordinary may exist just beyond the horizon. Then there is exploration. The legend of Atlantis inspired explorers to seek unknown lands, pushing the boundaries of maps, charts, and human understanding. During the Age of Discovery, tales of lost islands and advanced civilizations motivated sailors to cross oceans, not only for riches, but for knowledge and adventure. Could some of the voyages to the Azores, the Americas, or remote Pacific islands have been fueled by faint memories or stories of Atlantis? The idea of a lost civilization has driven human curiosity, encouraging risks, research and discoveries that shaped history. Even the mere possibility of Atlantis challenged humanity to look beyond the familiar, to question what is possible. Then we see Atlantis in art. Paintings, literature, and films for centuries have depicted the city in imagination, sometimes as a utopia, sometimes as a warning. From Renaissance depictions of sunken cities to modern science fiction, Atlantis represents the duality of human achievement, brilliance paired with fragility. Artists and writers use Atlantis to explore themes of ambition, hubris, and the transient nature of greatness. Its influence permeates music, literature, film, and visual art, inspiring creations that question humanity's place in the world and the fate of civilizations. Then there is science and speculation. Atlantis, real or imagined, has prompted scientific inquiry into ancient civilizations, geology, oceanography, and archaeology. Underwater archaeology, sonar mapping, and geological research have all been spurred by the hope of uncovering lost cities beneath the sea. Even if Atlantis remains elusive, these studies have expanded our understanding of the oceans, tectonic activity, and human history. At the same time, pseudoscientific theories proliferate, proposing advanced Atlantean technologies, energy systems, or global influence. While many claims are speculative, the conversation they generate keeps curiosity alive and challenges conventional thinking. Then, perhaps the most enduring legacy of Atlantis is the lesson it teaches about human ambition. Here was a civilization that reached heights beyond comprehension, yet was still vulnerable to forces it could not control. Pride, overreach, or dependence on fragile systems can undo even the greatest achievements. Plato's tale is not merely entertainment, it is a reflection on the human condition. In every empire, every city, and every generation, there exists the possibility of brilliance and the possibility of ruin. Atlantis reminds us that success is temporary if it is not tempered with humility, foresight, and respect for the forces beyond our control. Imagine applying this lesson today. Modern societies, for all their technological and cultural advances, face threats similar in magnitude to those that destroyed Atlantis: climate change, natural disasters, political upheaval, and unchecked ambition. The story of Atlantis, whether fact or fiction, is a warning etched into the collective consciousness. Greatness does not guarantee survival, and knowledge alone is not enough without wisdom. Then, in contemporary culture, Atlantis continues to inspire. Films, novels, games, and documentaries revisit the lost city, presenting it as a utopia, a dystopia, or a source of mystery and adventure. In this way, Atlantis lives on, not in stone or scrolls, but in the imagination of humanity. It challenges creators to envision civilizations beyond our understanding, and to question what might be possible if knowledge were lost, found, or misused. In a sense, Atlantis is less a location and more an idea, a testament to human curiosity, ambition, and the eternal pursuit of understanding. Then we reflect on the emotional power of the story. Atlantis evokes wonder, awe, and melancholy simultaneously. It speaks to the human desire for discovery and the fear of loss. The city is a dream and a warning, a place that exists in memory and imagination as much as in any ocean or map. It teaches us to cherish knowledge, to respect nature, and to recognize the fleeting beauty of human achievement. Even if Atlantis never existed, its legacy shapes how we understand ourselves and the civilizations we build today. And as we contemplate the legacy, the myths, and the lessons, a deeper question arises. What if Atlantis had truly survived? What if the knowledge, wisdom, and art of the lost city were preserved, hidden, or waiting to be rediscovered? Then we enter the realm of imagination and speculation, the ultimate what if, that challenges our understanding of history, civilization, and human potential. In the final part, we reflect on the possibilities, the consequences, and the haunting wonder of a world in which Atlantis was real. Then, as we leave the legacy of Atlantis echoing in myths, culture, and human imagination, a haunting question emerges. What if Atlantis had survived? What if, somehow, the knowledge, technology, and wisdom of this civilization had not been lost to the waves? Imagine a world where the inventions of Atlantis energy systems, architecture, medicine, and navigation were preserved, shared, and expanded upon. The implications stretch across history, science, and society itself, challenging everything we think we know about human progress. Then we envision a world transformed by Atlantean knowledge. Perhaps industrial revolutions would have come centuries earlier, powered not by coal and steam, but by advanced clean energy discovered by the Atlanteans. Medicine might have eradicated diseases long before modern science, extending life expectancy and reducing suffering. Architecture could have reached unprecedented heights and durability, with cities harmoniously designed for both humans and nature. Technology and wisdom combined might have fostered a civilization capable of extraordinary achievements while avoiding some of the pitfalls that modern societies face today. Then we consider diplomacy and governance. Atlantean philosophy, if preserved, could have shaped political systems, emphasizing balance, fairness, and sustainability. Perhaps wars would have been fewer, conflicts more measured, and societies guided by a deeper understanding of both human nature and the forces of the natural world. Could humanity have avoided some of the tragedies, environmental destruction, and societal collapses we have endured if such knowledge had survived? Then imagine the global influence of Atlantis. Ships powered by advanced knowledge might have reached distant continents long before recorded history, sharing insights with early civilizations. Knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering could have spread across oceans, inspiring cultures in Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Europe. What inventions, philosophies, or discoveries might we now take for granted if this wisdom had persisted? And what ancient mysteries that still puzzle historians might have been solved centuries ago? Then there is the tantalizing question of technological limits. Could Atlantis have developed capabilities we cannot yet imagine, machines that harnessed natural energy, materials stronger than steel, communication systems beyond our comprehension? Some theorists even speculate about lost Atlantean knowledge of the ocean's weather, or even the stars that could have propelled humanity into a far earlier era of exploration and discovery. The possibilities are as vast as the imagination allows, yet all remain hypothetical because Atlantis, as far as we know, vanished into the deep. Then we reflect on the philosophical dimension. The story of Atlantis is as much about potential as it is about loss. Its destruction teaches a lesson about humility, fragility, and the impermanence of human achievement. But imagining its survival allows us to contemplate human potential on a grand scale. Could we have learned to balance ambition with respect for nature, knowledge with wisdom? Could we have built civilizations capable of enduring full millennia rather than centuries? And if Atlantis had survived, what ethical and moral dilemmas might have arisen with the possession of such advanced knowledge? Then we see Atlantis as a mirror reflecting our world today. Modern societies boast technological marvels, global networks, and unprecedented access to knowledge. Yet the fragility of Atlantis reminds us that all progress is vulnerable to climate, natural disasters, or even human hubris. Could humanity, with all its achievements, face a similar fate if wisdom and foresight do not guide innovation? And Atlantis serves both as inspiration and warning, showing the delicate balance between greatness and ruin, reminding us that survival depends not only on what we create, but on how we protect and apply it. Then there is the mystery itself. Even after centuries of speculation, exploration, and research, the location and reality of Atlantis remain unknown. Is it submerged beneath the Atlantic waves, hidden under ice, scattered across continents, or simply a myth meant to teach humility and curiosity? The unknown fuels fascination, driving explorers, scientists, and dreamers to search oceans, study ancient texts, and push the limits of human understanding. Atlantis is less a destination and more a pursuit, a symbol of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge, discovery, and meaning. Then we pause to consider our own response to Atlantis. Why does the story endure? Perhaps it resonates because it is a reflection of ourselves, the desire to achieve greatness, to understand the universe, to leave a mark on history. And like Atlantis, our ambitions are vulnerable, fleeting yet full of potential. Imagining a world with a surviving Atlantis forces us to question our priorities and our willingness to safeguard knowledge, culture, and the planet for future generations. It is both a dream and a warning, a call to act wisely before what we hold most dear is lost. Then, as we drift from speculation back to the present, Atlantis stands as a bridge between reality and imagination, past and potential. Whether it existed as a real city or only in Plato's allegory, the story endures as a testament to human curiosity, ambition, and the eternal struggle to balance knowledge with wisdom. Its rise and fall remind us that civilizations are not immortal and that greatness can vanish as quickly as it is achieved. And yet, the legend persists, beckoning us to explore, to question, and to imagine what might have been. Then we leave the waters of Atlantis, carrying with us its lessons and mysteries. We ponder what humanity might achieve if we combined knowledge, creativity, and humility. We wonder what truths lie hidden beneath the waves, waiting for discovery. And perhaps, just perhaps, Atlantis is not entirely gone. Maybe it survives in our imagination, in the dreams of explorers, scientists, and storytellers, reminding us that the extraordinary is always within reach, but only if we recognize its fragility and cherish it. And with that, we return to the present, forever inspired by the lost civilization that continues to shape our curiosity and ambition.